most directors don't do that, I'll be honest.
Uh-huh.
It was a really cool way of doing it, actually. Just making sure that the actor wasn't acting out.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what's...
Mom?
Peter, sometimes you have to make hard decisions to protect your family.
What is that? The banging.
Enough!
Hello, Jim. Nice to meet
How's
you.
it going, guys?
Hello.
It's fine.
Good. From what do you, last time I saw you, you were hanging out with Joaquin, touring the country, and now you're like under the bed and running from everything because things are changing. You. What a change of scenery, huh?
Yeah.
Man, this was a trip. This film in so many ways. I'm gonna start out by asking you guys, with you, Samuel. Does wallpaper need to be in every horror movie? Because I feel it just gives these creeps every time I see wallpaper on a wall. There's something bad is going to happen.
Yeah, wallpaper is the skin of horror movies, Maybe it's that. And to choose that one, to be honest, I think we review 50 different wallpapers, because I didn't want it to. I didn't want to have I will say a old haunted house wallpaper. You knew the pattern. You knew and I said no. It's a kid. It's the bedroom of a kid. We have to have a kid wallpaper, but it has to be scary in his own way. So it was difficult to find that one, and really, it was a long process. All the color, it was a long process. So I dream about wallpaper since, I think,
Yeah.
It stood out for sure.
No, that's cool. That's cool. It was we were happy to find this one, to create this one.
Yup. Hey, different wallpaper could have changed the setting here, but this one just perfect for that room. Woody, are you superstitious in any way? Were you like checking walls or knocking on drywall to see if nothing's in there, or just you're a horror junkie?
I'm not superstitious, but my mom is
interesting.
So weird with it. So I don't know about other places, but in England, it's a superstition that magpies are unlucky, which is a type of bird. So if she sees one magpie on her own, she'll lick her finger and salute it, I think.
Really?
But like some people, like who are really superstitious, say, "Morning, Mr. Magpie, how's your lady wife?" I think. Obviously, people don't really do that anymore. You can still see how it's trickled down.
Wow, I didn't know this stuff. I mean, that's pretty fast. I mean, people do have superstitions, first of all, so that's a thing for sure. But man, it's always interesting to hear the different types.
Yeah.
I think here, the theme of Halloween, Woody, you're from the UK. Were you like familiar with Halloween? Is something you kind of celebrate or have taken on, or what? Because I feel like it was a big theme here with the pumpkins and just in Halloween in general.
I loved Halloween when I was younger, but obviously it wasn't as big as it was as it is in America. It's like 2/3 of houses do it. So it's a lot, but it's not as much as like when you go to America and you see every house with like massive statues outside of them. We never have that here. We have like a pumpkin and some fake cobwebs. Done.
No pun intended. There you go.
Yep.
Cobwebs make a difference. Samuel, I need to figure out what was in that soup. What kind of soup were we having here? It didn't look, as a viewer, that enticing. So I don't know why you were eating it, but I mean, Woody, obviously Peter knew better than not to eat something that does not look good. But look, for me, it looked like cement. Am I off here or what?
I think the prop guy say it's soup, mushroom soup.
Oh, mushroom. Okay, I can see that because of the color.
What you want to know, what they are eating at that moment, it's a mushroom soup, I think.
Aha. Okay, I could see it because mushroom soup is kind of grayish. Okay.
Yeah. It's like this. No, it's mushroom. I think it's mushroom. It was not bad.
Mm-hmm.
As he said, it was not bad, but it was not good. You know?
Well, there you go. So Peter knew all along, hey, I'm just gonna have some snack or something that's gonna taste a lot better, you know, not take my chances.
There was a time where Lizzie had to make a smoothie in the film. Kept adding flour to make it thicker because it didn't obviously look too appetizing. So they kept adding more and more flour.
And it made it like really thick at that point because like this usually smoothie's kind of watery and you can see through it. Interesting. Look at that. And Lizzie's got some tricks of the trade right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wanted to ask about Lizzie too, and the parents specifically. Lizzie looks like, for a second, I was kind of confused, like, are they trapped in time? Because her outfit stuff screams like 70s or whatnot, but then the rest of the world's dressed normally, you know? So I feel like the parents here, especially Lizzie, is in another decade, you know, or a few decades behind. Tell me about that choice, Samuel. I'm guessing it was intentional too, about that. I thought it was a visually a creepy sort of thing, but subtle but creepy too, if you pick up on it.
Yeah, totally. You're totally right. And you know, our work and in the production design, it was the same thing. It was, we wanted to create not reality, but you know, our little world. And I think the mother is our own little world. It's that world, you know. She's really trapped in a psychological thing, and you know, she has a clock here as a jewelry. You know, it's a clock, and we try to find outfits that, you know, she's like in prison in her outfit, and she move like that, and she talk like that. So yeah, it was really the intention to create, to not be grounded and be in a kind of Grimm brother world. She come out of Grimm brother, you know, fairy tale, you know, and that weirdness, and you know, she's anger everywhere, and yeah, the outfits is really a part of it in a way. So Peter, even if it's not, you know, totally, you can see where it is in time, but it's too colorful, it's too weird. She's far away from reality. Yeah, she's really her own style, her own, clock and time on her. I think.
Makes sense. Okay, that's totally, I caught that for sure, but it was cool. I always like asking this question, what is a horror set like? I mean, I always imagine it to be a lot of fun, but also potentially creepy. You hear some stories that they're actually in like haunted places and, you know, hear weird noises. First of all, any sort of paranormal thing happen on this set? And what is it like to be like on a horror movie set?
Sadly, nothing that cool happened.
Okay. Maybe a good thing.
Maybe it's a good thing. But so what surprised me is it felt the same as any other film.
Interesting.
Just obviously you have to play it different. You have to think through the lens of we're trying to scare. With especially this type of horror film that's really trying to separate the audience from the film and make sure that they know that it isn't real. They're trying to make it as unreal as possible, which creates a kind of uncanny horror with all of it. But it's a really cool environment with it as well.
Samuel, another thing I always wonder about horror movie sets, like the tension for a viewer. How do you create as a director tension? Because I felt like this movie especially had a lot of tense moments, tension pack. I mean, it's a big thing when it comes to horror genre, creating that tension, suspense, and you don't want to be too, you know, you want to be surprised when there's a scare coming. How do you create tension on a film like this?
Yeah, it's a little bit complicated because, as Woody said, when you are on a set, you really see obviously all the gears and everything.
Yeah.
And you see all the technician, with a little wire moving the door, and it's not scary at all in reality,
Mm-hmm.
So I know that on set, sometimes I play music and sing, but I bring everyone like kids to say, now we will play horror things, So let's you go down on a mood where ghosts are everywhere and plays. And after that, I really prepare my shooting, I shortlist everything. And then you have to take your time. You have to make long shots. And, you have to really, really play with time and be very playful. Mm-hmm. You have to mischief the audience everywhere and create, dark place. It's always a question of frontier. What is behind the door, What is what is inside me? If we think about Alien or this kind of thing, it's always something with break through that frontier and jump at it. It's behind me. What is in the dark behind me? All this kind of thing. And you have to take the time to play with all of that, to be generous and mischief people, and always respect the audience. I think it's how we can do that. And on set, Woody can tell you, I scream a lot, It's very silent, and suddenly I come, it's now, to have this kind of...
That's startling, right? It must be silent, and then out of nowhere, here's Samuel doing the jump scares, literally.
Yeah, most directors don't do that, I'll be honest.
Uh-huh.
It was a really cool way of doing it, actually. Just making sure that the actor wasn't acting out.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what's that's why it's an interesting watch, I think, is it feels real. The people feel real, but everything else doesn't at all.
Yep.
It's kind of like a, two sides of it's a horror film. Like, it's supposed to feel real, but then as soon as you start to believe it, it's like you're taken out.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of like you're thinking more about the emotions of the character instead of it feeling personal to you. It kind of feels like almost you're supposed to feel like just, you're supposed to feel out of it and in it at the same time.
Mm-hmm. I got this sense watching this film that it could have been multiple films in one. What I mean about it, you could have had like different sort of spin-offs. I could see a film about this parents without the wall, anything in the wall, like that being a horror in itself, and it could have gone that direction. Then you have the thing that we get here. And heck, I even thought those kids, man, with those masks and stuff coming out for Halloween, they could have had their own spin-off of sorts too. I felt there's a lot of potential different directions this movie could have gone too. Did you guys get a sense at any point too that, oh wow, we have so many dynamic things going on here that, wow, we could make different sort of versions or even small movies out of these things that we set up here?
Yeah, you're totally right. And it's something I loved in the script. It's like he created all the part, and you have like behind the set, there is a lot of stories, and you see only that part of it, and then you go back, and all that makes the story very playful and very fun, because it's not reality. When you are in reality, you have to be grounded everywhere. But when you decided to not be grounded, you have to bring a lot of stories in it. You have to bring a lot of imagery and graphic stuff. So to be able to think that the parents are a kind of a horror sitcom in their way, of their life, and the guys as a weird teen story in that kind of village. It's a cool stuff, and I'm happy that we can project ourselves in this kind of story. But yes, the movie is playful, and it takes turn, and that is fun. And there is a lot of things that we can't see, and that part of the game, horror is a lot what you can't see, what is off screen, what you imagine of characters, of people. and you say, oh, how those parents have become like that, you know? Maybe they, and I think it's part of the game and of this kind of movie.
You know, I think this movie kind of leaves us open-ended with questions too. Is there potential for more of this story and maybe side stories coming out of this? Did you think about that? Both of you actually, that there's more to be told here and you know, there's more left.
It's why I love horror movie and scary stories, you know. If you want to go further one day, you can, you know, you always can. And what is beautiful with horror is that you can be original and find very, very original ideas. But in a way, we love the same ideas, you know. We talk about vampires since I don't know, many decades, and it's always the same monster, but we just love to be retold the same story in different way. So you always can say, okay, I will tell what happened before that movie starts. You know, because there is some things to tell, and I will tell what happened after that, and you can imagine. And the horror genre is beautiful before that. You know, you always go around the campfire to hear scary stories, and you know, you can continue them, stop them, find another way, mix them, and that's very cool. That's playful.
Well, this was interesting. I like the setup of it. I like the concept, and Woody, you nailed it. You know, Woody, I couldn't believe you as a teenager, as a kid. You can roll with a bunch of age groups, man. You're just smooth and seamless when it comes to a lot of different roles. So I enjoyed that, and I think this prepared you well, Samuel. You prepared him well for him tackling Dracula next later this summer. So he's got another adventure coming up. So Woody, get some sleep and rest, hopefully, before that thing comes at you.
Yeah.
That's the fact. That's a fact.
Thanks, guys. This was a lot of fun, and hope to talk to you again on the next one. So hopefully there's more to this story down the road.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Yeah.